the plot thickens, okay? The plot thickens. Where are we at with the update, you guys? You've already heard, okay, Luigi has an attorney, okay? And when I first saw a picture of this guy, the first thing that came to mind was Better Call Saul, right? I said, now this is a joke. But then I heard him speak in front of the press. And you guys, listen, I know what a good attorney looks like. This guy is a monster. He's a beast. Okay, he was playful, he was sarcastic, he was funny, straight to the point, very relaxed, very chill, extremely well seasoned. You can tell he has a lot of wisdom. This guy could get Al Capone off, okay? It's just a thing, right? You've dealt with so many attorneys. I've been on the stand, had crazy battles. I've been, drugged through the mud by attorneys. I've fought back the best you can. Some of these guys are top notch. These guys are word wizards. You guys, they're experts with their words. And this guy here, I'm telling you, something is amiss. Okay, I would even argue. Again, this goes back to my theory from the previous videos, you guys, that this is all orchestrated. This is all planned out. That's one of my main theories right now. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Okay, the attorney was asked a lot of different questions by the media, and the way he answered them, I think a lot of you may have probably missed it, probably didn't catch the slide of words, but they all mean something. Okay, everybody has a tell. I'm gonna tell you what I get from this attorney. We're gonna play a clip of his interview. Right, he's actually taking questions from the press. We're gonna go ahead and react to that. I'll probably do maybe about 10 minutes of it. And then I want to play a couple clips in reference to how this whole thing sparked out about Luigi being caught at McDonald's. What does that look like? And then also, what did they find? They're already claiming that, hey, he has the evidence that supports him as the shooter, the murderer of the CEO. You guys, that's false. Okay, the media is putting out a lot of false information that is actually really causing a lot of confusion, you guys. And I'm going to tell you where the problems are really surfacing right now in this case. And not only that, we're going to also dive into the whole extradition. Okay, you guys know he's in Alatoona. Okay, he's in Alatoona. That's where he was picked up. He's currently detained there. You guys, listen, someone asked me, sent me an email. I was like, hey, you think he's innocent? Or the way you put this video together makes it seem like you don't think he did it. You guys, I'm not here to tell you if he did or he did not do it. We're here examining the evidence. We're here examining the reality of this case. I'm here to give you perspective and give you insight. You guys, as a 13-year former law enforcement officer, I've investigated high-profile crimes. I've been a part of high-profile cases. And on top of that, I currently work as an expert witness for police policies and procedures and use of force. So again, I've worked and I've handled some very crazy cases. And so I'm going to give you my insight. And as someone who's investigated crimes, like, what should you be looking at? What do we look at if you are a good investigator, if you're a good attorney? How do these things work out? You guys, when you've gone through the battle with these guys, I'm telling you, you learn a lot. So anyways, let's go ahead and not waste any time. Listen, they have unfolded Luigi's entire history. I mean, they're talking about what this brother ate as a Gerbert baby, okay? Like what he ate, what school he went to. He's valedictorian. He's all these things. They're laying out his entire life story within 12 hours, okay? And we can't even get these guys to release the Epstein list, right? We can't even get them to find out how Coke got in the bathroom, okay, in the White House. We're still waiting for information. So, one thing I can't stand about our country, our government, is its selective use of government resources, right? Which lets me know that there's a bigger plot behind this entire thing, okay? And I'm pretty sure it's going to unfold slowly but surely. So, with that being said, I think this is interesting. They claim they have this manifesto. Luigi was caught. He said, listen, this stuff was planted on me, which doesn't mean anything here nor there, but it's a very interesting statement to make. He said, this was planted. This isn't mine. Listen, suspects say a lot of things all the time. Guilty, not guilty, doesn't matter. People will lie, okay? I've had cases where people say, these pants aren't mine, so I don't know where this cocaine came from, okay? So I've heard it all, trust me. So him saying that is neither here nor there, but the fact he said it, it opens a door for multiple theories, okay? And we're going to dive, you know me, we're going to dive into these theories. You know, what bothers me about this is that we had a president who was, they attempted to assassinate him twice. And I can't recall anything that they released. I want to get some background on these guys too, right? So I just find it interesting. It's hard investigating yourself, right? So I guess that's kind of the moral of the story. But anyways, let's dive into it. All right, let's start with the first clip. It's going to give us a brief summary of kind of how this whole thing panned out at McDonald's. And McDonald's is taking a big hit right now, PR wise. Why? Because people are looking at Luigi as a hero, okay? And so people are calling the McDonald's worker a snitch. Like, you turned him in. This guy's a freedom fighter. He's fighting on behalf of us and the corrupt corporate interests that's plaguing our country as we speak, which is true. I just believe there's a better way to go about it, all right? We're just not at that Mad Max level where we need to be doing things like this, all right? But best believe this guy has the 1% on notice, okay? Because I guarantee you this is going to breed a lot of copycat crimes. So a lot of things are going to change moving forward. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the first half of this video. Shout out to McDonald's. I stopped eating there a long time ago, but
at major time behind bars after this murder investigation. So Mangione was spotted eating a hash brown inside of McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. This was a wild break in the case. He was wearing a mask, but an employee there recognized him, said, "I think I've seen that person on those wanted photos," and called 911. Police show up. They tell him, take the mask off. They question him and ask if he had been in New York recently. That's when they say he got so nervous he started shaking and handed over this fake ID there on your screen. Okay, it says Mark Rosario. That's not his name, but that's his picture. He used that same fake ID, I'm told.
Oh, wow. So this is the actual ID that Luigi used when he checked into the hostel, okay, in New York. Okay, this is a fake ID. This is a fraudulent ID. This is a felony in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, to have this, make this, use it, utilize it, all right? It is a felony. I'm pointing this out for a reason, okay? And I'm gonna tie this back into the attorney and then also with the laws in Altoona. Okay, this is a New Jersey ID. It's fraudulent. We know that to be true, okay? They still have not been able, according to, like I told you guys in my previous video, they have not been able to tie this ID to the crime scene, okay? Or tie him to the actual crime. Okay, which is important. I'm gonna speak on that, explain that. Okay, so, okay, let's keep going.
To check into a New York City hostel before the shooting, so he still had it in his pocket. Mangione also had a backpack with him in Pennsylvania when he was arrested. Inside was a gun they believe was printed on a 3D printer and a handwritten note that explained a possible motive, slamming the insurance industry. Police say that manifesto had this in it, saying in part, "I state plainly that I was not working with anyone. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming." So that's very disturbing.
All right, let's talk about this statement that was made. Apparently, allegedly, there's 3 pages. He's making some generalized statements, okay? You guys, listen, there's no confession, all right? What did he say? I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone, okay? I do apologize for any strife, traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. 2 things with this. All right, let me get back on the big screen so I can say this. 2 things with this is a problem, because in my mind this can go 2 ways. Either this message or this memo was written under duress, okay, which basically means somebody forced them, had a gun to his head, maybe was like, hey, this is how you need to carry it out. I'm gonna give you my theory after this is done, okay, and it's gonna all make sense. But this is part of the memo that was located, they're calling the manifesto, that was on his person or in his book bag. He is telling the people that, hey, the money that was located, the gun, this memo, all this information was planted. It's not mine, okay? So here we are. People are taking that statement that we just read, and they are saying and suggesting that that is an admission of guilt. You guys, that is not an admission of guilt. Apparently, this memo, or what they're calling the manifesto, is him expressing his discontent towards the healthcare industry. He talks about, I guess, his injuries. He had a back injury and things of that nature. He's talking about all these things. I don't even believe he named, or it's named as UnitedHealthcare inside that memo, but he is actually expressing his issues. You guys, that is not an admission of guilt. This is why I keep saying that this case right here reminds me of Law-Abiding Citizen, okay, with Jamie Foxx, okay? It's just, it has a lot of similarities. A lot of things are mirroring, where you have so much circumstantial evidence, you have so much information that is implied, okay, but there's no admission, right? Everything points to a person, but nothing sticks to the person. That's what this case is looking like thus far, okay? And so here we are, McDonald's, they find everything, and they're like, this is the guy. He has the documentation claiming he hates the medical. He could turn around and get on the stand. You guys said, this is an essay that I was writing for a peer review journal or whatever, okay? This, you could say anything, and how can you prove him wrong? It's just, what a coincidence, right? What a coincidence. And so I think people everyone is so wrapped up tight. They want to make him, again, he could be the suspect. He could be the actual offender, right? He could be. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove, okay? And the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. So the reality is, you got to put it together, okay? You got to put it together. Jumping to conclusions and getting overzealous is not going to help us identify the shooter, okay? You can think he did it, know he did it, but you can't put A plus B together to make it look like C, okay? And when you start trying to finesse it, you make mistakes, and then you lose the case altogether. I've seen that happen as well. You want to put the evidence on the person so bad because you know they did it, but you can't find anything concrete to solidify the charge. So this is going to go into the next conversation. All right, so let's dive back into this video and hear what she has to say.
Traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. So that's very disturbing, to see that and hear that. And then you saw him freak out again. So he's continuing his message possibly about the healthcare industry. Investigators say they're going to keep working this case, Neil, and they're going to bring him back to New York no matter what. Neil.
But that could take a little while, right?
If this was slam dunk and they have him and they claim they have everything, you guys, this would be easy peasy. The problem is, it is not easy peasy. Why is it not easy peasy? Is because they have no concrete evidence tying him to the case, to the incident. Okay, so let's go into the next segment. This is a quick review of the actual charges of what he's being charged with in Altoona, okay? And then we're going to look into what his attorney is talking about, which is absolutely crucial, because a couple key points I really want to tell you guys that I think is imperative for you to hear, and then I want to get your thoughts on it.
The man charged with killing the UnitedHealthcare CEO is fighting extradition to New York.
Luigi Mangione screamed at cameras when police brought him into court today. And tonight we're learning investigators found written admissions about the deadly shooting. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni following the latest developments. And Mike, the suspect's new attorney is calling out the judge this evening.
Kelsey and Randy, he says his client deserved bail, but he did not get it. Now Mangione will stay locked up while he tries to stop prosecutors from bringing him back to New York to answer to the murder charge.
Completely abduct and insult the intelligence of the American people.
Murder suspect Luigi Mangione shouted at cameras as police walked him into court Tuesday, calling his arrest an insult to Americans. The scene outside the courthouse came just over 24 hours after police arrested the 26-year-old at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where photos show him eating a hash brown. A new mugshot shows him in an orange jumpsuit after police tracked him down thanks to a tip from a fast food worker. They found a homemade gun and silencer on him, as well as what police are calling written admissions about the shooting. Mangione is now...
See, that's what I'm talking about. We just went over those so-called admissions. He didn't make any admissions of the shooting. He expresses frustration with the insurance industry, and he expresses frustration with corporate America, okay? These one percenters that are oppressing the people with their corrupt and wicked nature. As we know, the corruption in this country, on a high level, it's very malignant. Okay, it's really spreading through and it's really bad. Okay, so we do know that. Now, what's more disappointing is the McDonald worker who really risked his life to actually call the police and say like, hey, listen, I think I see the guy who you guys have been looking for. Ultimately looking now to collect the award money, which is about $60,000, and they are basically saying they can't give it to him. And you know why they can't give him the money? According to them, they said he was supposed to call the tip line first. You guys, listen, isn't that jacked up? Like, that is the coldest thing you could ever say to a person. Like, hey, thank you for, helping us solve this case that we believe we have. But unfortunately, we can't give you the money because of a technicality. You're supposed to call the tip line first. So, yeah, that's bull. And whoever doesn't give that man that money, you guys, this is why these freedom fighters are out here fighting for the freedoms of the people. Okay, this is why people out here playing Robin Hood, because they're tired of being screwed over. So anyways,
now fighting to stop prosecutors from bringing him back to New York to face the murder charge.
I haven't seen any evidence that says that he's the shooter.
Mangione's new attorney, Tom Dickey, spoke Tuesday night, calling out the judge for not giving his client the chance to get out of jail. Police in Pennsylvania picked him up on gun and forgery charges.
The judge could set $1 million bail. It could be $5 million bail, but damn it, you get bail. That's what you do.
Mangione faces more serious charges in New York, including murder, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of a forged instrument. And New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she will sign a governor's warrant to make sure he returns to that state to answer for Brian Thompson's murder.
It's simply...
Here's the issue. He's looking to face charges of murder and possession of a weapon. But you guys, listen, no charges from New York has been drafted. Okay, there has been no charges drafted. Why is that? Because you need probable cause. You need evidence. You need evidence to support your probable cause in order for a judge to sign the warrant. They've had him in custody now. It's going on 2 days. All right, 2 days. They believe that he's the suspect. How come warrants haven't been drafted up? I mean, it's not like you really have a lot of charges here, okay? You don't really have a lot of charges. The most important charge you have is homicide. It's murder. Why is it taking New York so long to draft up some warrants? You guys, and this is going to lead us into our last video, and we're going to listen to the attorney, Mr. Dickey, and and really kind of hear what he has to say. First of all, the guy's cold-blooded, all right? The attorney is cold-blooded. I already tell you, he's a shark, he's a beast, he's a monster, all right? And I just, for the life of me, I can already tell this was already orchestrated. He already had this attorney lined up prior to this incident. This goes back to my whole thing that this thing is entirely staged. Okay, that's one of my top theories, okay? And it can be staged in a multitude of different ways, you guys. Let me just go ahead and give you my theory now before we dive into it with the attorney. It can be staged in a multitude of ways. The first way is that this leads to my theory in reference to the law-abiding citizen, right? You have Luigi he's this civil justice warrior, right? He's this activist for the people. He's playing Robin Hood. He wants to make a point. He wants to change the system. He has the smarts. He has the resources. He has the ability to make it happen, okay? What does he do? He puts this whole elaborate scheme together and he assassinates the CEO, okay? He puts this whole scheme together where it looks like it's him, but no evidence can support that it's actually him. There's no tangible or physical evidence. At best, there's some circumstantial evidence, but they can't prove anything, okay? He put a lot of red herrings out. People are following their tail and they're going around in circles like a merry-go-round, okay? Of course, he's there, he's present. He puts himself in the state of the crime at the time of the crime, but not at the scene of the crime. So then you have him so close you can taste it, but you can't swallow. No Diddy. Anyways, so it's tantalizing to investigators, right? It's very tantalizing to us when you know you have your suspect, but you can't reach them. You can see them, but you can't touch them. You can smell them, but you can't see them. Okay? You can hear them, but you can't locate them. It's too close. It's too close. And he does that. And then he allows himself to be arrested under the guise that he actually is the person, the suspect, right? On purpose. Just so he can go to court and drag the entire system through the mud on the world stage and then walk out a free man, okay? On some O.J. Simpson type stuff, okay? I believe this attorney was already acquired. He already knew and wanted to go to Allatoona. I'm going to tell you why he wanted to go to Allatoona. The attorney is going to make his argument. He's going to be very, very adamant about this argument. It's about the bond, okay? It's about the bond. Allatoona is a special city in Pennsylvania because the judge, by law, by state law, they have to grant bond. They have to give a bond unless it's a murder charge, okay? Unless it's first degree, second degree, murder, everything else gets a bond. That's their state law. Everything gets a bond. So the question is, what is he actually being charged with in the state of Pennsylvania? He's being charged with fraud, possession of a weapon. Those are felonies. Those are felonies which fall under the state law that he's supposed to get a bond. The judge is denying a bond. He's not getting a high bond. He's getting no bond. And I don't think that was going to be a part of his plan. This is my first theory, assuming allegedly that he's the suspect. Okay? That's not going according to his plan. I think they planned that he was going to get bonded out. What is happening now is that New York is trying to stall and wants the state of they want Pennsylvania to stall as long as they can, okay? Because a question was brought up by one of the reporters, why did he go to Pennsylvania? You guys, why did he go to Pennsylvania? And why did he go to McDonald's? What a convenient place to what? Get caught. Okay, he got caught with everything on him. Casual. Okay, he got caught with everything on him. A gun with a silencer, fake ID, cash, and an essay about why he hates insurance companies. Okay? The fake ID is a felony. The gun is a felony. Okay, cool. Give me a bond. Anybody else would have got a bond. You don't give him a bond. Why? Because he is a suspect in a crime in New York. But just because he's a suspect, you got to pass down an affidavit and say, hey, we want him for this. Hold him. We'll come and get him. But New York hasn't done that. The attorney says, I haven't seen any charges from New York. There's no evidence that says my client is wanted for murder in the city of New York. You guys, that's a problem. But this goes back to what I said in the previous video. There's no evidence. They haven't been able to put him at the scene of the crime. Okay, you got him around the crime. You got him down the street from the crime. You got him looking like maybe somebody, but nobody's seen the shooter's face. Nobody's seen the shooter's face. Right? You got a guy with a dark color hoodie and a book bag in New York with a mask on and a gun. That's like a quarter of the population in New York. How many of those guys are walking around with the same hoodie, same jacket, who fit that description? Same shoes? Come on. You know? So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying he did it. I'm saying, can you prove it? So it's not going according to plan. I can tell this was part of his strategy to really throw mud in the face of prosecutors and the investigators, right? I think this is not going according to his plan. The judge is obligated to bail him out unless they have a hold for him from another jurisdiction. City of New York has not put that out, which is crazy because it's been 2 days now since he's been arrested. And what's taking you so long? If you're so confident in what you have, what you got? You got Monopoly money, you got a book bag, you got a bottle with a smudge print on it. What else do you have? You got bullets, shell casings. What else you got? Now you have a suspect. You got access to his DNA, you got access to his fingerprints. You guys, if they had a slam dunk, they would have dunked it. If they had a slam dunk, they would have already dunked it. You know why? Listen, the alphabet agencies, guys, I've worked with them before. They love to get their rocks off. Okay, if it works, it squirts. Okay, it ain't working right now. Something's off. Or maybe they're trying to stack charges. They can't be. There's no reason because there's only two charges: weapon and murder. Weapon and murder. That's all they have. This isn't rocket science, right? So now we have him tied up in Pennsylvania. His attorney, this guy, again, he is looking to get him bond, which he can get it. People are not going to understand that, but you guys, he's going to get bond. Unless New York rains down a Hail Mary, he's going to bond out because I think the attorney's going to challenge the state. Just because you think he committed a crime, but you don't provide any proof, there's no affidavit signed by a judge, you got to give him bond. You can make it high, million, so he can make that. You guys, he got money. All right. So that's the first theory. The second theory, all right, let me give you my second. Okay, before I get into the second theory, let me get into the attorney. Just hang tight. I'm gonna get into the second theory. I don't want this video to be too long, but let's get into the second theory. I want you to hear a little bit what the attorney said. So, and I'm not gonna play the full thing because it's I think it's like 20 minutes, 16 minutes, but we'll get a little bit in. See what the attorney talking about. This is Tom Dickey. This guy is about to break it down. Look how casual he is. Again, this guy can get Al Capone off, right? Like he just something about him. I bet he's already known by the family. Like he's too smooth.